Hi guys, it's me, Shauna. How are you this morning? Well, I'm sitting in my car and I'm waiting for this store to open, which is a black-owned store. I'm not gonna blow up the store's name. It's about 10:38 right now. He was supposed to open at 10 o'clock a.m. I called him. He said he was on his way, but I'm not going to blow up the store's name because I'm going to go and I'm going to speak to him and try to get a better understanding as to why he was late and what was going on. I don't want to just jump to conclusions because I know how hard it is out here as a small business owner. So I'm not going to blow him up in that way. Not yet. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about something. So I was having a conversation with someone and she was sharing with me her struggles in her relationships. Now, many of you guys know and some of you guys don't know, I'm a marriage counselor and people come to me specifically for relationships. And a lot of times people who work with me have issues surrounding infidelity. So that's just what I do. But nonetheless, I was having a conversation with her and she's stressing out. She feels that she doesn't feel like she's appreciated. She doesn't feel like she's cared for. And I was speaking to her about what was her first example of love in her life and where does she get this narrative of what love looks like. Because I know from working with people, research-based, that love, you know, your first definition of love or your first experience of love usually comes from your primary caregiver when you're growing up. For me, I'll share a little bit about me because I don't want to get too deep into her situation, but I know what she's going through a lot of people can relate to, you know, not paying her husband, not paying the bills on time, them losing their apartment, her feeling stressed out, they have young children. It's a lot of stuff that's going on in their relationship, and a lot of women can go through this, and a lot of men go through this too. But a lot of times people come out and they say, you know, he doesn't love me or she doesn't love me. The truth is you guys just have a different understanding of what love is. And I'm not talking about love languages. Yes, it's a good book by Dr. Gary Chapman, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about there's something that's deeper than that. I'm talking about how when you're a child and you're developing and you're interacting with your primary caregiver, in many cases it's the moms, but it could be the grandmother, it could be an aunt, it could be an uncle, whoever your primary caregiver is or was. That's usually when you learn your narrative of what love is. And so I was sitting there and I was trying to break it down for her, and I used myself so that I can do it in a practical way that she can understand. For me, with my mom was a single mom. And how my mom loved me, she loved me like 4 distinct ways. My brother and I, it's 2 children my mother had. My brother who's older than me and then myself. And she not only protected us, she corrected us. She provided for us and she loved us. Her love wasn't always affectionate. So for me, affection is nice, no doubt. Don't get me wrong. But for me, my lens, my narrative of how I view love and how I expect love to be returned came from the basis of how I had love with my mom. You understand what I'm saying? My mom, for one, she provided. My mom didn't have money. Many of you guys know I grew up poor, okay? And I'm talking about the welfare system, everything. I grew up poor. And my mom did not have money. But that never stopped her for providing for my brother and I. I don't care. I don't care if my mom made up the weirdest dishes in the world. Whatever food she had in the house until she was able to get money, food stamps, whatever the case is, she made it work. So we never went to bed hungry. We may have had weird dishes like spaghetti and eggs with barbecue sauce. I remember that dish and it did taste good, but that's a weird dish. Most people don't eat that. But she did what she had to do to make sure she provided for us. Poor I grew up, but I went to dance school. I went to karate school. I went to swimming lessons. I went to Catholic school. My mother made sure she provided by any means necessary. She did what she had to do in order for my brother and I to have the life that she wanted us to have an opportunity at success. That's how my mother loved us in that area, correcting us. When we were wrong, and she corrected us, okay? Yeah, somebody might say, oh, that was abuse. Yeah, I get it. I understand with how society is now, what abuse was. But for my mom, she did what she needed to do with what she had to do it. And we never had any type of child protection services in our life. We didn't go to school with bloody noses and black eyes and whelps and all this other stuff in our body. That's not how we went to school. But she corrected us. When we were wrong, she corrected us. And for me, that's what I look for in love, right? She also protected us by any means necessary. my mother would go to bat for us. And I'm not talking about one of those moms that go to the school and they cussing everybody out and the child is a bad behind child and they're just wrong. My mother protected us. She protected us from anybody, whether they were family, friend, enemy. It doesn't matter. She protected us. We never had to be afraid because we know when we took it to our mother, our secure base, she was going to protect us. And that's how she showed us love. And the last thing she did for us was she loved us. She loved us. It may not have been affectionate, but I know my mom loved us. She may not always say, I love you. I mean, I don't think I started to hear that until I became an adult and I became a mom myself. But I never doubted my mother's love. My mother was like a bear, you know. She was like, no one is getting to my children. These are my children, and whatever they need, I'm going to provide for them if I can. I mean, I remember when I first got married with no money. I don't know how this lady bought my wedding cake. She put it on layaway. Who puts a wedding cake on layaway? My mom did. You understand what I'm trying to say? My dress. She put my dress on layaway. And my dress was a beautiful dress with a long train. And she put that on layaway. She made money, paid until I had it. This lady who was never married was so proud of me and that I was doing something that she never did. And she took it to the next level. Whatever money she was able to give me toward my wedding, she did just that. That for me was love. It was more than just the money. It was what she did. She went the length. She went great distance to make sure I was happy and that I felt loved and that I felt supported. So here I am, an adult in a relationship, and that's how I look at love, and that's what I look for in love. I'm not going to expect anything less from a man. If my mother, a single mother, was able to protect me, provide for me, correct me when I was wrong, and love me, I don't expect anything less from a dude. You understand? And so that has become my lens of what love is. That has been my sense of security. I never feared my mother not loving me. I never feared my mother abandoning me. I never feared my mother hurting me because she didn't love me. I didn't have to worry about those things. My mother never left us and went to another country or went on vacations and left us with people. My mother didn't love us that way. We were her base. We were her everything. And she made sure she did what she had to do to provide for us, to protect us, and to make sure no one, whether verbally brought harm to us or physically brought harm to us, she made sure no one harmed us. Her family was everything to her. And that has become my lens for love. So when I work with couples, I really look at their lens of love. Where did it come from? What was their first experience of love with their parents, whether their father, their mother, or with their caregiver, their grandmother, their aunties, their uncles? What did love look like for them? And oftentimes I find with couples, it doesn't match up. They have been loved differently, and a lot of the clashing comes from there, and disconnection comes from there too. And when you disconnect from your partner, that's very serious when you disconnect, because you don't feel love, you don't feel protected, you don't feel that's your sense of security. Or some people don't know how to love from that lens because maybe their parents were dismissive. Maybe their parents wasn't there. Maybe there was a break in their younger years where they were left to fend for themselves. They were abandoned. Whatever the reason was, they were abandoned. So they don't really know how to love how someone whose parents protected them, corrected them, provided for them, loved them, how they had a secure base with their child. So it causes friction, and oftentimes the disconnection happens, and hence infidelity soon follows. So I'm not going to bore you with this stuff. There's a lot of details that go into that, but I hope this really helps somebody, because I know it helped my associate I was speaking to when I was breaking it down for her so she could understand the difference between how she loves and how her husband loves and why that might be happening. Because if we don't get a grip on this, if we don't learn how to look at each other as secure bases, as where we can go for soothing, for comfort, for protection, for provision, for love, if we can't go to our partner for that, before you know it, that relationship is going to crumble. Sometimes it doesn't end in a divorce because people marry for different reasons. Not everyone marries for love per se. Sometimes stuff like that doesn't end in divorce, but many forms of infidelity will show up in these kind of relationships. And infidelity doesn't have to actually be a sexual act. It could be an emotional connection. It could be an online connection. It could be cyber sex or sexting. It could be so many things of what infidelity is. But I hope this really helped you guys, and I hope it gives you an understanding of who I am and what my position is in this world of helping people understand their love for their partner, and hopefully it can help you understand how I work to help clients or help my people that I work with have successful relationships or marriages. I hope this helps someone, and don't be afraid to share this video. I'm going into the store now because I'm looking and I see people walking in. So maybe he finally arrived at 10:48. That's the problem. See you soon, guys.